Hey, welcome to Music Coast. This is Kivett Bednar here, musician, artist, and kind of scenester, bro. Thanks for having me on, man.
Can you share with us how you first got started in music and what inspired you to pursue a career as a musician?
Absolutely. So I started playing guitar in about 5th grade. I think it was the summer before 6th grade, and I was playing in the local band for my elementary school. But there was a day where I experienced flow for the first time because I went outside, at least with something other than running and jumping and swinging on things, That was always flow when I was a kid. But playing guitar, I got this guitar from my elementary school. It was a classical guitar. And I went outside and I was trying to learn the part for this production I was going to be in for elementary school. And I found myself trying new things and just kind of finding creativity around a music and instrument, for the first time. And I've been listening to a lot of classical music for music memory stuff in school, but that was kind of my first flow moment with a guitar, and it's been love at first sight after that,
Right on. And who are some of your biggest musical influences, and how have they shaped your sound and style?
Sure. Well, I got a shout out to Red Fang, man. Red Fang's been a really big impact on me, or had a really big impact on me. Definitely Sleep, the band Sleep. I love that stuff, man. The Sword, out of Austin and Houston, they're great. Muddy Waters, Buddy Guy, Clapton even. But I love a lot of modern jazz guys a lot. Chris Potter comes to mind, Kurt Rosenwinkel. Bedrock Cube, man, they're awesome. Tim LaFave, Yuri Kane, Zach Danziger. But yeah, I love a lot of blues, and I love a lot of heavy metal, and I think they have this beautiful sort of harmony.
Definitely. And how do you describe your musical style, and what draws you to these genres to incorporate it into your music?
Well, it's kind of like Delta blues with a little bit of desert rock, kind of mixed in, man. That's kind of what I'm going for, is a sort of melding of the heavier aspects of singer-songwriting with some of the more traditional grooves of more traditional grooves in the blues category,
And can you walk us through your creative process in songwriting or producing a new song?
Absolutely. Sometimes it starts with a lick. Sometimes it starts with something on the guitar that I think sounds cool. Sometimes it starts with a rhythm. Sometimes I'll get an ostinato in my head that goes over and over again, like in the case of the song Hard Time that I wrote. It's in 11, but I didn't ever count it, until after the fact. It was sort of an intuitive lick that just came to me, and it was sort of worked with my hands on the guitar, and so that became a song. And I wrote lyrics after the fact, but sometimes it's a turn of phrase that comes first, and so then it's the words that sort of evince the rest of the tune. But every once in a while, too, it's like a chord change. Oh, shoot, I really want to introduce this chord change. I really like this one little melodic line through it, and then the melody kind of comes out of the chords, and then you combine that with something else you wrote 6 months ago, and you got a B section. All of a sudden you're working on a bridge, and that's how they kind of come together, cobbled together like jalopies,
That's great. I love that answer. And what was the experience of working on your debut project like, and how did it feel to see it released to the public?
Amazing. So I put out some albums with a band called Shades of Blue in high school. It was like a blues jazz band, and we had a lot of fun kind of learning from each other on those recordings, and there's a lot of really cool music on there. But my first actual release of my own was called Land of the Living, and it was back in 2013. I wrote it over the course of a weekend. There was a bunch of tunes that had been kicking around in my head that I was wanting to develop, a lot of grooves that I wanted to capture in the blues category, but maybe give it a little bit of heavier edge. And I had a friend who was a drummer. He just moved up. He was playing with me. It was a duo. I played baritone guitar. He played drums. And we wanted to put more of the art noise rock thing into it as well. And we found a guy who would record us down in LA. So I polished up, wrote the songs all in about a 12-hour drive down there, and then hung out with my buddy Anthony he played drums, and we recorded it over the weekend. Luckily, I had a really good engineer, but Ocotillo Studios was the place down in LA. But he mixed up the tunes. After that, I had minor revisions, and then we put it out on a record, LP. You know, I made 500 copies and then broke the mold. So it's, yeah, we ended up selling most of them, and I still have a few that we sell at shows and stuff, but it felt amazing to get it out there.
Right on. And your live shows are known for their energy and engagement. What do you enjoy most about performing live, and how do you prepare for your live shows?
Dude, for the longest time, you know, I thought all I had to do to be the best guitar player I could be, the best performer I could be, was like get good in my basement, you know? But I realized that that's not really what I want to do. It's about the crowd engagement, the audience connection. And I've had a lot of fun kind of coming into my own, trying to learn to be a performer for audiences, you know, and engage them more, and you know, find someone and perform to them. If you can't, that's been a really helpful tip, is like, you know, don't perform to everyone, pick someone, perform to them for a little bit. Then when it gets weird, you can switch. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's been a lot of fun, man.
Right, that's awesome. And do you have any memorable or standout experiences from these performing live? Like anything crazy you'd like to share?
Oh man, I learned the hard way that I can't drink beers. You know, I can only drink, kind of smoke the devil lettuce, and you know, can only kind of smoke the devil lettuce and drink whiskey when I'm doing gigs, because I actually played a couple of them where I was drinking IPAs and I got sick during the middle of the set, where, you know, you're playing and you kind of like lean back and go in and close your eyes and you're fiddling around, and then when you open your eyes, in a much different place than you thought you were.
Yeah.
I had one too many IPAs, and I learned I got to chill, you know, if I'm going to be playing gigs and performing for people. That's part of, if you're, you know, too fucked up, you can't connect, and then it's not fun for anybody.
Exactly.
So.
And what has the recording process been like for you? Are there any interesting? What has the recording process been like for you? Has there been any interesting stories?
Big time. You know, over the pandemic, I started recording a new album with Jimmy Bott from the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Great guy, has a fabulous studio here in town. Fabulous. And it really is, though. It's awesome. Great room, great sounding gear. Awesome ear on Jimmy Bott for production. And so we did about 7 tunes over the pandemic, and they're almost done, but I want to get 10. I got 10 I want to get out, and then I'm going to put them all out on an album called No Record. Okay. And yeah. Okay. But that's been awesome, man. Well, it's a lot of Frankensteining. It's a lot of like, we'll play 10 takes of this solo and then kind of like put them together.
Right.
You know? Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, though.
At least it's been fun and not dreadful.
Totally.
And have you collaborated with any artists or bands that are extremely memorable for you, or that changed your view on music?
Yes. TJ Wong. I want to give him a special shout out. Young kid around town. He's awesome. And just kind of seeing maturity in somebody that young has been really cool. Norman Sylvester has been a big one for me. He's legend status, you know, and getting to know him over the last couple years, and watching him play more and more and learning from him has been invaluable. So those are kind of standout moments.
Okay.
And yeah.
And what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in your career so far, and how have you overcome them?
Well, money.
Yeah.
You know, money is always a thing. But I found really cheap living in Southeast Portland. You know, about a decade ago, stuff was really affordable. You could get a house and get a room with a bunch of kids, and kind of turn it into a pigsty or turn it into your personal heaven. You know, it was sort of like a blank slate. I felt like there was a real excitement around Portland for that. I don't know. That helped me a lot in my early career, was just keeping the headroom low, also like working with people that are better than you, man. You know, you always want to have someone you're teaching. Like my students are fucking invaluable, man, because they help you learn it better than when you learned it before. And they ask good questions and they get you to think about things in a new way. But then it's also good to like play with somebody like Josh McCoskey. He's a local guy who's amazing, man. He's a real challenge to play with. He's very good, you know. And just making sure you don't sound like a doofus in front of that dude is like, you know, but he's just having fun and doing his thing. So then there's someone like that. And then you always got to learn from the masters, man. Alan Hager is really amazing. Pat Stillwell is really amazing. West Side Slim, dude.
Yeah.
If you ever checked out Slim, bro, he's good. So learning from those guys has been invaluable. Yeah.
And how do you stay connected with your fans, and what has been the most rewarding aspect of interacting with them?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not good at social media, so I don't reach out very much on social media. I just, you know, but and I've been criticized for it, but and I'm trying to figure out a system for getting better at it. But I mostly connect with fans at shows, man. You know, people who come out to the same show over and over again. Sometimes we do a coffee shop gig at Rose City Coffee, just across the bridge, and there's a whole scene that comes out for that kind of gig. And then we play the Blue Diamond a bunch, and a whole different scene comes out for the Blue Diamond. You know what I mean? Right. And that's been really enriching, you know, to like sort of just see people at different places, and sometimes they'll cross over, and that's exciting when you get the collateralization, man.
Right.
You know, and the whole scene gets a little bigger and a little more connected. That's when it gets exciting.
More love, bigger vibes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Is there any advice that you would give to young musicians that are coming out to be a blues or jazz artist?
Play out as much as possible. You know, get gigs, like get the experience of screaming your head off, you know, and learning to control your voice. Get the experience of being too fucked up to play, and you know, having to take that black eye. Get out there and have the experience of having a good show and really connecting with the audience, and feel what that feels like.
Right.
I feel like that's more important than any scale or substitution or any other stylistic choice. It's really, can you connect with the person that's listening to you and take them on a journey? They lead you places, you lead them places. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah. Any final thoughts? Any things that you want to plug? Like any new music?
Hey, Benson Amps, man. Benson Amps and No Record, man. Coming out probably in December.
Okay.
I'll be putting it out. But yeah, my man TJ Wong and Josh McCoskey. You know, Rock Over London, Rock On Chicago, Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions. Hey.
Cheers, brother. Thank you so much for taking this time and giving me this interview.
Shay, you're the shit, man.
You're the
Great
shit.
to see you, man.
Thank you, brother.